All right. Well, good morning. Happy Sunday. Happy Father's Day. To any of you fathers out there watching, we've been going through the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew chapters 5 through 17. Last week we talked about murder, but really remember it went deeper than just killing somebody. I mean, it was all about not hating, not thinking somebody was empty-headed or stupid. And then before that, remember we talked about being salt and light and the fulfillment of the law. And we also talked about the Beatitudes. So just a little bit of review. Again, I would highly encourage you to go back and read that stuff every day. It is so good. Today we're going to talk about adultery. Kind of a heavy topic, but I think just like we saw with murder, a lot of times people think they're innocent on this whole deal, but Jesus Christ comes in and says, well, really, there's more to it than the overarching thing that we usually think about. So if you have your Bibles, I'd encourage you to turn to Matthew chapter 5. We're going to be in verses 27 through 30. So I'm going to go and read this for us, and then we're going to kind of tag team this and go from there. It says this, you have heard that it was said, do not commit adultery. But I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. If your right eye causes you to sin, gouge it out and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to be thrown into hell. And if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to go into hell.
Okay, we're going to start with verse 27 that said, you have heard that it was said, do not commit adultery. Okay, you may know meanings of adultery, but we're going to take it down a little notch, and we're going to say adultery is cheating on somebody, having some sort of relationship, or having some sort of relationship outside of your own relationship. And that could be with the opposite sex, or it could be with God. I mean, we can put all this in there that, yes, when you're older, it means one thing, but as we are now, how often do we cheat on God? And that's really thought-provoking, Do you find time for God? I got to do this. I got to get on the phone. I got to go to practice. I got to go here. I got to go there. I just don't have time to come to youth. I don't have time to do. That's fine. I mean, it's really fun. But who are you cheating here? You're cheating God. He knows. We've talked about God knows your heart. He knows where you're standing. And it's the same thing. We disappoint Him just like if you were dating someone and you went out on them and caused them a heartache. So it's cut and dry, but it's also very thought provoking. And I hadn't thought about it that way until Garrison and I were talking. But yes, we can do that against our friends or family. I mean, it's not just pure the sexual part. Mm-hmm. So did that cover?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
So that's 27, kind of overarching, but it's like Cindy said, even the overarching theme is kind of really that goes deeper than that. But then verse 28 says this, but I tell you, that's right, but Jesus Christ comes in and says, you think you're innocent, but wait a minute, let's further examine this, right? But I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. So why is that such a big deal? It seems a little extreme, right? To say, I haven't committed adultery, I looked at a woman with lust, or girl looks at a man with lust. I mean, it says one way, but it's not completely just one way. That doesn't mean I've committed adultery, right? Why is that such a big deal? I don't understand what the connection is. Well, think about this. Think about sin, okay? Sin rarely starts with a huge thing. Sin usually starts with a quick glance, or a quick thought, or something really small. Sin typically starts small and just kind of builds, right? We've talked about this in youth. We have that thought in our head, and that thought is not necessarily always a bad thing, because what can you do with that thought? You can say, nope, get out of here, and you've denied Satan, you're good, you've resisted it, right? But that thought starts to kind of dig in, and then once you do the action from the thought, that's typically where we say it kind of grows and grows. So that Jesus is saying, look, you're starting off with something small, but it's going to grow, right? It's going to grow, it's going to grow, it's going to grow. And so I think that's what he's getting at here. I think that there's two different audiences, right? There's guys and there's girls, male and female. Okay, so I'm going to talk to the guys first, right? The male guy, the males. Okay, it can be hard, but you got to find a way to keep your thoughts pure, right? Turn away, right? Turn away. Find something you can think about every time you start getting that thought in your head. Find whatever it is, look away and look at the first thing on the wall and think about that, or whatever it is. It can be difficult, but that's something we have to do, right? Because Jesus Christ says that if we think about a woman, or we think about a girl with lust in our heart, we've already done the sin, right? We've already sinned. Okay, we have to avoid that. So maybe it's I know I had some buddies, and every time they did it, they had to do 20 push-ups. That was kind of their way to help each other and hold each other accountable, right? So maybe it's that, but we got to find a way to keep our thoughts pure, right? So that's kind of the guys. Look away, think of something else. Now the girls, okay? A lot of times girls think they're innocent in this whole deal because it's all about the man. I tell you, well, they're looking at me. I have nothing to do with this, okay? But you do. You have so much to do with this. In 1 Corinthians 10, it says, in a roundabout way, kind of paraphrasing, that we should not make each other stumble. I'm telling you, when you dress certain ways, it makes things way more difficult for guys. So you can help guys out a lot by watching what you wear, right? By watching how you adorn your temple of God. And
Yes.
I have heard so many times, not directly to me, but girls talking. Well, I can't help it if he looks at me like that. Well, but how you're adorning yourself is really not helping the guys out, right? Anything to add to that?
Right. Don't wear those. You know what makes the guys look at you. We don't have to tell you, and that's all the way down as you grow up. When you head down there to those dances, I've seen you, and you look cute, but it also doesn't help a young man. And I'm just saying, those thoughts, I mean, you don't want to make somebody fall. I like that scripture. You don't want to make them fall. And it's the same with the boys. I mean, can I share a story?
Sure.
I won't name names. I had a group, we went to Love OKC. And I had a group of girls. I never took boys, I always took girls. And they were sitting at the breakfast table one morning, and one of JC's guys came through the cafeteria. And my girls all went. Just like that. And the kid had just asked JC, can I wear this tank top? And he saw those girls make that deal, and he goes, you've got to go change. Because he was leading them the wrong direction. And I mean, that was just a look. And I'm sure they weren't thinking anything but, woo, that's a good looking dude right there, because he was a handsome young man. But I'm just saying, what he was wearing was causing an issue. And I mean, I didn't, and girls do that all. And we do it. Sometimes it is not knowing, but a lot of times, yeah.
Most of the time it is.
You do.
Well, it's kind of think about this, right? If I know an alcoholic, I'm not going to go take alcohol to their house and drink alcohol there.
I would hope not.
I mean, that's kind of the same preface here. I'm telling you, and we know, guys and girls both, we know what we wear and when we're trying to attract looks. You can say, you know, you're old enough, right? And so I think we have to be really careful. We can help each other out here, right? Guys, you can help girls watching what you wear, watching what you say, right? Guys can help out a lot by watching what you say, and saying that, hey, you look pretty wearing that too, or whatever. It's a two-way street. It's not just the guys that are guilty. It's not just the girls that are guilty. We need to be helping each other out with this whole deal.
And you need to win them with your personality, or win them with your heart, the heart that you have. Let them see that goodness, and it just takes one. You have one, and then it just moves on. I mean, you may have to be that person that starts that. You may have to wear your gym shorts and your t-shirt, and
Right.
There's nice looking shorts there. You all can look nice.
And it's fine, and it works out.
And you're gonna look, because that, I mean, not in that way. The lust part is the word, but
right.
you're gonna look at a guy, because if you don't look at a guy, you're never gonna be able to date.
And it's
Most of
okay
us
to
see.
find somebody attractive. It's a
Right.
whole different thing to have lust in their heart after somebody, as opposed to finding them attractive.
Right. So, and it's a tough subject because we're still kind of young, some of us, and that's okay. But
Right.
keep it
Right.
above ground.
And just one last thing, and I don't want to go too deep with this, but
No.
if you're just attracting a guy or girl, and they're only attracted the way that you look, they're only attracted the way that you look, and they're not really attracted to the whole church thing, they're not really attracted to personality, I'm just telling you, get out.
Wrong
Because
girl.
it's gonna go bad. Okay, so I hope that kind of clears some things up, and I want to challenge you that when your parents tell you, "I probably shouldn't wear that," they're probably correct. So think about what you're wearing, and think about if Jesus Christ were to walk in the room, would I feel good wearing this?
Ooh, that's
And
good.
if you think, yeah, I think it'd be all right, you're probably okay. If you think, then probably, that's probably the way it should go. So again, kind of a tough thing. But let's continue on, verses 29 and 30.
Okay, if your right eye causes you to sin, gouge it out and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to be thrown into hell. And if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. For it is better to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to go to hell. I mean, he gave you two instances there. He doesn't mean for you to go out and cut your arm off or gouge your eye out. He doesn't mean that. But he does mean for you, you may have to cut some things out of your life. He says, we should take things serious and do whatever it takes to keep us from sinning, or keep us from sinning, looking and thinking things we shouldn't think. But I'm just saying, it could be anything in it. You need to be, we were talking just about cutting things out to be a good Christian. I mean, you could look at it that way. I mean, that kind of, but you may have to cut some things out of your life. I mean, there may be things that, if you're hanging around with a group that's out partying, you may have to be the one that stops that. Because you're not going to be successful, you're going to be that person. And it's going to, people are going to find out, and then you're kind of, well, I didn't drink at the party, but I was there. It doesn't matter. You're going to be, I've tried to explain, you're going to be part of that. If you're being mean to that person, that kid at school, you're being the bully, or you're just being ugly to them. I said, but I didn't do it, they were doing it, but you're with them, so they think that about you. I mean, it's kind of stretching this, but sin is sin, and you're cheating on someone, you're hurting someone else, it's just
Hard.
Yeah, it is. But you may have to change your life, is what I'm saying, and it's easier to change when you're younger than when you're older.
You're setting the foundation for your whole life, whether you realize it or not. You really are.
Can you come back if you do mess up? Oh, yeah.
Of course.
I mean, we're all going to mess up along
And
the way.
maybe it means something as small as you unfollow someone on Instagram because they're posting pictures that are making you have these thoughts, and I better unfollow them. And that's going to be hard. Maybe it means you stop looking at somebody's Snapchat stories because they post some provocative pictures, or they post some pictures that maybe they shouldn't. And so it's, that's a tough
And it
deal,
happens,
but
even though we're in Canadian. All that stuff doesn't happen in Canadian. Yes, it does. And probably not to the degree that the bigger cities do in the bigger schools. But it's still here.
Sure.
Taylor's told me stories that I didn't even know. But I'm just saying, these things happen, and you know people that it's happened to. So you don't want to be that person that is doing that.
Of course.
And I'm talking to you ladies. You don't want to be that person. You don't want that tag on your life. I mean, I'm just saying, I'd rather be the goody two-shoe than be the, around town. I'm just...
Yeah, no doubt. So, what does this mean? I have some application stuff for you. What does this mean for our lives? How do we change? Number one, I think we have to be faithful as God has been faithful, right? That means you're faithful to your friends. That means you're not just a friend when you need a meal. It means you're not just a friend when you need help. You're faithful to your friends. Okay, now, like Sandy said earlier, if that friend starts doing things that maybe know we shouldn't be doing, okay, let's talk about it. If they don't want to change, then maybe we find different friends. That doesn't mean you do go out and do whatever they want just because I got to fail with my friend. Well, there's a line there, right? It means you're faithful to your family. It means you're faithful to your boyfriend or girlfriend if you have that. I mean, I'm not going to share my thoughts on high school and junior high boyfriends and girlfriends right now, but if you have one, then you're faithful, you're doing things right. And then lastly, the most important one is you're faithful to your God.
Amen.
Right? That takes precedent over everything else, right? So if you're faithful to your God, more than likely everything else, it's going to take care of itself. It really will. Guys, watch your thoughts, right? And watch what you say. Because what you say can have an impact on how a girl dresses, how a girl thinks, everything else. So guys, we need to really be watching what we say. We need to be watching what we're thinking. There's a little kid's song that talks about be careful little eyes what you see, right? Because it's just little eyes just get that train rolling. It gets the ball rolling, and thoughts become actions very quickly a lot of the time. Girls, watch your attire. Watch what you wear. Watch what you say as well, right? there's some crossover there, but for the most part, guys, we gotta watch our thoughts. Girls, we gotta watch what we wear. Again, there's some crossover. Guys also need to watch what you wear. Girls also need to watch their thoughts. But for the most part, with the way guys and girls are wired, that's typically the way it works. And so it's kind of a challenge for you this week to think about how can you better yourself, right? Are there some things, some thoughts you need to get rid of? Maybe some pictures you need to get rid of. Maybe some outfits you need to get rid of, whatever, right? How can you kind of cleanse your life from that stuff? And then lastly, what are you cheating on God with, right? Is it your time? Is it whatever, right? Is it sports? Is it school? Is it social media? Is it whatever in your life that you've put above God? And here's a lot of the ways that you can tell that. Number one, you can kind of keep track of how much time you're spending on things, right? These iPhones now, mine's being used to record. I can't get it out.
Here, I'll hold mine up.
These iPhones now give you screen time. So they tell you exactly how long you're on everything. I hate it because it shows me that, man, that's terrible. I spent 5 hours a day on my phone, right? There's the time. The other thing you can tell on maybe if something's an add-on, this is probably when you get a little older, is where's your money going? A lot of times where your money going will reveal a big part of what's most important to you in your life. So think about those things this week. How can I better cleanse myself? How can I help maybe cleanse others and help them as well? And then how can I come back to a holy relationship with my God and put him first above everything else and get rid of all these idols? A lot of times we read through the Old Testament, the Israelites had so many troubles. They had so many troubles, right? Moses is up getting the Ten Commandments, and while he's doing that, they're building a golden calf to worship because they thought he was God. It didn't take a day, right? And we think, how dumb, what a bunch of losers, right? And then here we are doing the exact same thing. God is so faithful, and yet here we are. It doesn't take us a day, and we're off trying to find happiness, contentment, and joy in something completely different. So I think we have to be really careful with that. Run to God. Watch what you're wearing. Watch what you're thinking. Watch what you're saying. Watch what you're doing. Kind of evaluate your life this week and see if this applies to you. Again, kind of a heavy topic, but man, I don't know that it's ever been more prevalent than today, really. But just not that it's happening more today, but access to it is happening with social media and everything else, and cell phones the way they are, and the internet. We have access to all kinds of stuff. You have to be really careful with what your eyes are seeing.
And that stuff will just pop up on your phone.
It will.
You need to get rid of it. Take it to your phone. I don't know how you get rid of it, but you cannot even be looking and it shows
Yeah,
up
it does.
because that's kind of how.
Satan works.
Yeah,
That's how
kind
it
of
works.
is.
So,
We didn't read the scripture. Did we need to read the scripture?
What is
I think
this
it's pretty good.
sure, go ahead.
30.
Oh, yeah, I meant to read that. I forgot.
Proverbs 31:30 says, grace and I did the ERV version. Grace and beauty can fool you, but a woman who respects the Lord should be praised. And you could put man in there
Sure.
instead of woman in this day and time. Grace and beauty can fool you. I'm just telling you, you don't have to be the beauty queens sometimes and the good-looking dudes. They're not all they're meant out to be. So you should. It says, but a woman or a man who respects the Lord should be praised. And that is very big when you really start looking for a life mate.
The most important part.
It is. You don't, yeah. So that doesn't really, it kind of should have been fitted in earlier, but it's okay because it's important.
Sorry, I forgot to read it.
That's okay.
But no doubt. So if you've ever heard be a Proverbs 31 woman, that's what it's referring to, right? Sure, you can dress up. There's nothing wrong with
Right,
dressing
like
up.
that.
There's nothing wrong with putting on makeup. There's nothing wrong with guys looking nice, getting a nice haircut, right? But if your number one concern is how are people looking at me, and how, then we've got it wrong, right? Sandy mentioned it last week with the verse of 1 Samuel about David, right? David had all these brothers, and they went to find the next king, and all his brothers were sharp and handsome and big, and God said, I don't look at that stuff. I look at the heart, right? So we should be more like that, looking at people's hearts as opposed to all the outside stuff.
And working on our.
And working on our heart. Oh my goodness, you're not kidding. So that's this week. Again, kind of heavy, but I hope you really think about it. Really think about what you're thinking, where your eyes are going, maybe what you're wearing, and then lastly, what's taking the place of God in your life, and really try and fix it. And if you need help, reach out to us. We can help. I promise you, you're not the only one going through something. Maybe the only one that admits it, but we all have something that we're putting above God. If not all the time, a lot of the time.
And these lessons, I really would love to hear your input. I'm missing Sunday school because
Yeah.
I love listening to what you guys have to say, because you have good thoughts, you have
do.
you have questions, and you have, I mean, I miss that. So just talking to the camera and talking to you and saying peace, but you know.
Yes. Okay. Last thing is this. So on that. It's Sunday, so you missed our Ultimate Frisbee Friday, but we are going to start trying to do some fellowship events, maybe once a week, every other week. We're going to do everything outside, where it's safe to do things outside. So be on the lookout for text messages, remind messages, meeting together, doing some fun stuff. I want to do some maybe worship around a campfire one night, just some different things where we can meet together, be together. It's been a while. And talk about this stuff, you know. Bring your questions, text us questions, give us a call, give us a shout. We love to hear from you. You're not bothering us. If I can't answer, I want to answer. If Sandy can't answer, she won't answer, but we'll get back to you, okay? So give us a ring, give us a shout. We love to hear from you. Love to see you. But again, be on the lookout, because we're fixing to start doing some fun stuff. So get ready for that. Anything else?
Make sure you hug your daddy today.
That's
Just
right.
close by.
Like your daddy for Father's Day. You don't have to social distance from daddy, so it's good. Prayer request for the week? Anything new, pressing? Have our ones we've been praying for?
No, something.
All right. Well,
Somebody had surgery.
maybe so.
Luana had that surgery.
What? Surgery.
She wasn't feeling very good the other day.
All right. Well, let's go to Lord in prayer, and then we will be done for today. God, we thank you so much for this day. We thank you for the chance we have to come and to dig into your word, Lord, and hopefully examine our lives, Lord, and figure out where we're close to you, God, and where maybe some places in our lives where we're separated from you because we've kind of gotten off, God. I pray that you'd help us to show us those things, reveal those things to us, God, so that we can be more like you and be better to serve in your kingdom, God. We thank you so much for everything you bless us with, God, that we take for granted each and every day. We pray for those that we've been praying for, those that are sick, those that are in the hospital, those that have lost loved ones, God. As we know, just a few. Luana had surgery last week, God. We pray that you continue to heal her and help her feel better, Lord. Be with her family as they're helping her out, God, and everybody else we've talked about, Lord. Thanks so much for your grace and love and mercy, and most of all for your son. It's in his name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Hey, give us a ring, give us a shout. We'd love to hear from you. We'll see you guys soon.